Hi, Abraham. I've been following you for about 20 years. Should I say you've been following me for about 35? So I have a belief that is not serving me. It is that I can't do this work. It is that every time I try and do a process, I reach for the better feeling thought, and it doesn't move energy. It doesn't make a shift.
Well, can you feel a shift in emphasis here today? That rather than teaching you to make a list of positive aspects, that we're asking you to get out ahead of it and calibrate it so that you've adjusted your point of attraction before you walk into a circumstance. That's as a result of you having experiences that are a little more difficult. Life trains you into ways of thinking. And the thing is, when you're the thinker in the ways of thinking, it's hard to even see it. It takes some reorientation to even realize. Esther has just been amazed as she is watching things that are happening in the world at how locked into beliefs people are and how incapable they seem to be of seeing things the way she's seeing them. And then she asks herself, I'm probably doing the same thing. I'm locked into beliefs too. And this is why we are saying in the clearest way that we can project energetically, and Esther is doing her best to find the clearest words to convey it to you verbally. This is why we think it's a really good idea if for a while you don't try to calibrate to other people, which means you don't try to please them, you don't try to jump through hoops, you don't try to get them to understand you, because they can't. They don't have enough perfectly in common with you to really understand you. And your thirst for them to understand you exists only because you haven't let yourself be in complete alignment with who you really are. That's the void you're trying to fill with something that will never fill it, you see.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So trying to get people to understand you or know you is what's at the heart of the discord.
Another piece of this is I see you work with people up here. I see them come up and do a process with you, and you'll coach them. You'll say, oh, you're being too specific and whatnot. Then they'll try it again, and then you coach them some more. And then invariably, you take over and you rampage. And I always think to myself, of course you can do it. Your infinite intelligence.
Well, that's what we said earlier, is that it's no fun to watch someone else succeed. But you see, what you feel, and only what you feel, whether you think it's about something you're witnessing or not, what you feel at all times is about the gap between who life has caused you to become and where you stand in terms of what you believe. There isn't anything that we can do to close your gap except explain to you that there is one, and explain to you what it feels like when it's closed and what it feels like when it's wide, to describe to you what positive emotion is. We can acknowledge there are a lot of people in this room, and you light it up. This guy did too, and we were after him. We were looking at him, but you were so lighted up over there with the power of your desire. One of the rare times in all of the years that we've been flowing and blowing through Esther, we said you, then you, because that's how lighted up you were. That's how strong your desire is, you see. That counts for a lot. And so you're way too hard on yourself, and the reason you're way too hard on yourself is because you grew up around people who were way too hard of themselves, and you. We love you all so much, but you are so mean to each other. And the reason that you are mean to each other is because you have desires that you can't figure out how to fulfill, and you're looking to others to help you fulfill them, and you're looking for that in all the wrong places, you see. Every now and again, Esther, she'll write on her list, lonely is one of the things that she's feeling from something that happened. And it's because nobody really gets her. Nobody's walking with her. Nobody really gets her. She wants them to get her. And then she remembers, wait a minute, Abraham gets me, they get me, and they like me. They like me. They understand me. And so she can soothe herself. But when she's asking someone who listens to different music or studies different philosophies or is different orientation relative to this and this and this, and then she wants to explain herself to them. She bought a really beautiful house, and no one gets it like she does. because no one else was in on the attraction of it, you see. No one can feel the satisfaction of that clicking into place the way Esther does. And she can see different things in their faces when they don't get it. And then she feels lonely because they don't get it. And she wishes that Jerry was still here because he would feel exactly like she does. No. He never felt exactly like she felt. That was a flawed premise that she was running under too. Just because he never scolded her or threw a fit about anything didn't mean he agreed with everything she said, you see. And so you just got to look for a connection in the place where it is and not need it to come from someplace else, because your mistrust of yourself. You know why you don't trust yourself? Because other people haven't trusted you. And you know why you don't trust yourself? Because you don't trust other people. And you know why you don't trust other people? Because they demonstrate ridiculous behavior all over the place. How are you going to trust anybody? Turn on the television, all it's talking about is everything gone wrong and everything that's wrong with your body. You don't even trust your own body. All those things that your body is conspiring against you. It takes a little while to break the pattern of that sort of thought. But once you get hold of it, once you get hold of it and it clicks into place, and then you walk forward into the next segment knowing that you were solid before you walked into it, and then you saw the results of it. Because words don't teach. It's only life experience that teaches. We think you're a good calibrator because you were lighted up in a strong way. And what we saw from you was strong desire and readiness to hear. That's what we saw. Strong desire and readiness to hear.
So on a similar front, my other question, I want my own Abraham.
You've got your own Abraham. We want you to have your own Abraham.
I know.
You all do. But this speaks to the same thing that you were speaking to before. Esther demonstrates it pretty well. You do too. Just don't try to make it this right off the bat. Have you ever had an experience where out of the blue a helpful thought came to you? Have you ever been on your way out the door without something that you needed, and then suddenly you remembered it? Where do you think that came from? Where do you think that came from? Esther always says, thanks, guys, because she was on her way out the door without something that she really needed. Well, we all know what she means to take with her, you see, and you do too. So when those thoughts and impulses come to you, acknowledge it. Acknowledge the connection that you are making, because it's common, it's often. And don't put emphasis on the other.
So meditation then, when I sit to meditate, I find it difficult to clear my mind sometimes. I've used your meditation Vortex CD for many years. I've tried many other kinds of meditation.
Well, do this for a little while.
Okay.
We teach meditation this way. If you quiet your mind, you stop thought. If you stop thought, your vibration rises. It's simple enough. Stopping thought's not the easiest thing in the world. The earlier in the day you do it, the easier it is. Don't read your email first or have a conversation with somebody. In other words, don't get too much activated, because while you've been asleep, most thoughts have calmed down. They've become mostly deactivated. But this is a different focus that we would encourage you. So sit to meditate and give it a minute. Focus on some sound in the room and enjoy the monotony of it a little bit. And notice if maybe you feel some physical sensation of detachment. Maybe you will and maybe you won't, but don't make it a big deal, because it doesn't matter. And then, rather than struggling, which you're doing, to quiet your mind, let the thoughts flow if they do. And notice the theme of them, the emotional theme of them. Because we know for sure, sometimes you're tuned in. Sometimes that communication is happening and you're assuming that you're doing something wrong and you don't let it flow. So these are the words that we've been offering. Quiet your mind, allow your vibration to rise so you're in the vibrational vicinity of your inner being. And then watch the movie if there is one, or listen to the dialogue if there is some. Don't struggle to quiet your mind, because you've been doing it long enough that you're tuned in frequently. And we think that what you'll notice will happen is you'll get some thoughts and you'll realize they're not your thoughts, they're broader thoughts. They feel like your thoughts because you're interpreting them. You're interpreting them through your vocabulary. You're interpreting them through your view of life. Of course, they feel like they're your thoughts, but where are they coming from, you see? You're doing more of it than you're giving yourself credit. Now, we don't want to spend a lot of time. We don't want to spend any time, but, well, we want to spend a little time helping you to acknowledge that you let critical people in your life and their opinions of you, which they can't control, that have nothing to do with you, you let those opinions control how you feel about you.
That's for sure.
They're in your head.
Yeah.
Now, they can't force their way in your head. They don't have that kind of power. They can't assert their way in. You're letting them in. You've been letting them in. It's normal that you would let them in. All we're asking you to do is meditate so everything goes away, and then only let in what you really want to let in. You see the distinction? And be more playful about it.
Yeah. I want to be more playful, and I keep feeling like, okay, how do I be playful? And that's the opposite. So it's hard because I try to do this stuff, and then I try and get out of the way, and it doesn't quite work. So,
well, you're on the brink of something. You're on the brink. A lot of that's going to happen with you all in this room. You're on the brink of catching yourself manipulating and catching yourself calibrating. So someone Esther really cares about, she was arguing with this person. And nothing serious, but not pleasant. And then some time passed and she did calibration on other things. And then Esther realized, wait a minute, that's exactly what I thought I was going to get from that person on that subject. So who did what to who? I was all law of attraction-y about it. And then we got together and I was so law of attraction-y about it that I sucked it right out of them. And then I said, you shouldn't do that to me. Nobody's doing anything to you. You're attracting it all. And once you get that, then when you attract stuff you don't want, you just laugh because it doesn't feel like somebody's getting you, because they can't. Law of attraction is such a delicious thing once you understand it and begin focusing in ways that you get more momentum. In other words, if you practice what you want to attract and then attract it, you're going to start feeling invincible. But if you're sloppy in your thinking and you're not practicing anything and you're getting a lot of stuff, then you don't know what end is up or who's doing what to who. The answer is you're doing it all to you. You're doing it all to you. You're doing it all to you. It's like when you slam your finger in the drawer because you're not paying attention, who are you going to blame that on? The drawer? It's all like that. Esther says, okay, I get it. I get it. Damn drawer. Enough?
So when I have sat to channel,
oh, don't sit to channel. Sit to watch the movie.
Okay.
Don't turn it into more than you're ready for. Just watch the movie. That's all it is. Just receive. Just receive. Just receive. Just receive. Same word, but that word's loaded.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Yeah. This is a good time for a segment of refreshment.